Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Imagine a moment so quiet, so intimate, that the words she chooses to share with you could change everything. You might not realize it yet, but if she's telling you certain things, deep, personal, secretive thoughts, you've already crossed a line most men never reach. You see, women don't give their inner worlds away lightly. There's a reason she shares her fears, her dreams, her private thoughts with some people, and not with others. If you're hearing them, it's not by accident. It's a subtle signal that she trusts you in ways most men will never understand. Most men think attraction is about looks, money, or confidence. Those are only the surface. The truth is far deeper and far more dangerous if you misunderstand it. When a woman opens herself to you emotionally, she's revealing her internal landscape, showing you her vulnerabilities, and testing whether you can hold the space she's giving. She's evaluating your emotional intelligence without ever saying it outright. And here's the critical part. The man who truly understands this, who sees beyond the small talk and into the unsaid, is already winning in a way most men never will. Pay attention to what she says and what she doesn't. A woman who shares her insecurities, her secret anxieties, or even the things she dreams of in silence, is signaling that she sees you as more than just a friend or a distraction. She's measuring you against every emotional armor she's ever worn, every time she's been hurt before. And if she's letting those walls down, even in the slightest, it's a declaration, not in words, but in action. I trust you more than most. That's rare. That's gold. That's the line between being ordinary and being exceptional in her eyes. Here's what most men miss. She's not just talking. She's observing your reactions. Every pause, every acknowledgement, every small gesture matters. The way you respond isn't just about being polite. It's about proving that you can be a safe harbor in her storm. If you fumble, if you ignore, if you fail to honor that vulnerability, it's gone forever. But if you rise to it, if you show empathy, understanding, and unwavering attention, you've crossed into a space where few men ever tread. And make no mistake, that space isn't about sex. It's about trust, connection, emotional dominance, but the kind that makes her feel safe, not intimidated. And this is where most men misread the signs. They assume that sharing thoughts about past heartbreaks, fears, or ambitions is flirting or testing. It's neither. It's a selective reveal, a subtle invitation to step into her inner world. And once you're there, you've gained access that is rarely given. You're no longer just an option. You're someone she unconsciously measures all others against. That moment, that fleeting conversation where she exposes a piece of her heart, is a turning point. It's quiet, almost invisible if you're not paying attention, but it's powerful. Winning her trust emotionally first is a victory most men never even see coming. And right now, as you hear this, you might be asking, how do I know if she's truly sharing with me or just talking? The answer lies not in the words themselves, but in her energy, her consistency, and the subtle patterns of behavior that accompany her disclosures. She will gauge you silently, test your attention, and reward the man who notices the unspoken. If she's opening up, confiding thoughts she doesn't tell her friends, laughing at vulnerabilities she hides from the world, it's a sign you've already won, in ways you probably didn't even realize were possible. Now, let's take a closer look at what happens in her mind when she shares something personal with you. This isn't casual conversation. This is a test. A silent evaluation of who you are beneath the surface. When a woman entrusts you with the kind of thoughts she keeps locked away, she's doing more than talking. She's measuring your capacity for understanding, your patience, your ability to hold space without judgment. And here's the truth most men overlook. She's looking for a man who can sit with her complexity without needing to fix it. Many men feel the instinct to solve problems, to offer advice, or to try to impress her with solutions. But that's exactly the wrong move. What she's seeking is emotional resonance, the ability to feel alongside her. She's giving you a glimpse of her heart, not a challenge to your ego. If you respond with care, validation, and genuine interest, you're signaling something far more powerful than words ever could. You're proving that you're rare, that you're trustworthy, that you are already a safe harbor in a stormy world. And women notice that. They feel it in their bones. Here's the subtle power of this moment. When she shares her fears, doubts, or secret joys, she's creating an invisible bond. This isn't about attraction in the surface sense. It's deeper. It's a psychological connection that rewires how she sees you. Suddenly, other men who chase, impress, or compete for her attention feel like strangers in comparison. You've accessed a level of intimacy most men will never reach because they chase what they see rather than what she reveals. You've earned a psychological foothold that positions you as exceptional, even without trying. But there's a caveat here that most men miss entirely. Trust is fragile. One careless word, one judgmental reaction, one failure to honor her disclosure, and it vanishes. The vulnerability she offers isn't just a gift, it's a responsibility. And the men who understand this, who honor it quietly, reap the rewards in ways they don't even realize. She will think of you differently, subconsciously prioritizing your presence in her life. Every shared secret, every personal thought builds an invisible ladder connecting her to you. And climbing that ladder carefully, with patience and empathy, positions you as someone who can be her confidant, her anchor, her safe place. Notice this, she doesn't share with just anyone. Her thoughts are protected by walls built from experience, heartbreak, and self-preservation. If she's letting you in, even a little, it's not accidental. It's a sign that she perceives something in you, a steadiness, an emotional depth, a rare intelligence. You may not see it yet, but she's already comparing you to every man who tried and failed to reach this level of connection. She's silently acknowledging that you've passed a test most never even knew existed. And this is where most men stumble. They see the sharing as casual, not realizing the weight of what's being handed to them. But the man who notices, who respects it, who listens with both ears and his heart, has already moved from possibility to reality. He has become exceptional in her eyes, without a single boast, without a single display of power. The secret is simple, yet profound. Emotional trust is the ultimate currency in attraction, and she is giving it to you. If you recognize it, if you honor it, you've already won. Now, let's dive into the hidden signals she's giving you, the ones most men completely miss. These aren't obvious gestures or words. They are subtle, almost invisible threads of attention and emotion that only a man who truly understands female psychology can see. When a woman shares thoughts she doesn't share with others, when she subtly tests your reactions with small personal disclosures, she's signaling that you occupy a space few men ever will. This is where the invisible power dynamics shift in your favor. Notice how she looks at you when she shares something vulnerable. It's not the same as casual eye contact. There's a flicker of expectation, a quiet curiosity, and an unconscious measuring of whether you can hold her complexity. These are the moments where many men fail. They either ignore the weight of her gaze or misinterpret it as flirtation. But if you pay attention, you'll realize she's offering you access to a world she guards fiercely. Every laugh at a private joke, every sigh when recounting a hidden fear, every hesitant pause, it's a breadcrumb trail straight to her heart. Here's the truth. Women don't share their inner lives lightly because they are wired to protect themselves. Every experience of disappointment, betrayal, or emotional pain teaches them to be cautious. So when she chooses to reveal her hidden thoughts to you, she's doing something extraordinary. She's saying, without words, I believe you can understand me. I trust you more than I trust most. That level of access is rare. And it immediately positions you as different, as exceptional, as someone who has earned her subconscious respect. But it goes deeper. Women communicate trust in layers. The first layer is verbal. They tell you things. The second layer is energetic. Her tone, her body language, her subtle cues of comfort or hesitation. The third and most powerful layer is behavioral. How she prioritizes you, how she invites you into spaces she keeps private, how she chooses to spend her attention. few men notice these signals because they are trained to focus on what is said, not what is felt. The man who sees all three layers and responds with intelligence and emotional integrity is the man who is already winning before he even realizes it. And here's the dangerous beauty of this truth. The more she shares, the more connected she becomes to you emotionally, often without consciously intending to. She's testing the boundaries of your empathy, your patience, and your presence. She's evaluating whether you're capable of holding her complexity without judgment, without fear, without rushing to fix. The man who recognizes this is not chasing her. He's earning her trust with every subtle interaction, every quiet acknowledgement of her inner world. That's the kind of power that makes attraction effortless and influence natural. One critical point: these moments are fleeting. They pass in seconds, in gestures, in tones of voice. Miss them, and they disappear. Notice them, respond appropriately, and you've positioned yourself as someone irreplaceable. She will start to think of you differently, not loudly, not consciously, but in the quiet recesses of her mind where feelings of safety, admiration, and desire grow. That's the real win, not a conquest, not a victory in conversation, but a profound emotional foothold that most men never even see coming. Now let's talk about what happens when you respond correctly to this trust she's giving you. This is the turning point most men never reach because they underestimate the quiet power of presence. She's already chosen to reveal parts of herself that are deeply guarded. Your job isn't to impress her or solve her problems. It's to show her that you can honor what she's sharing without judgment, without fear, and without rushing her. When you do this consistently, something remarkable happens. You become the man she unconsciously measures all others against. It's subtle, almost invisible to anyone else, but it's profound. She notices the way you listen, the way you remember little details, the way you react not just with words but with energy. Every time you validate her feelings, every time you give her space to express herself fully, you reinforce a psychological truth. She can be herself around you, and that makes you rare. She will start to associate you with safety, understanding, and emotional competence. And in a world where most men chase, compete, and perform, that makes you irresistible. Here's what most men completely miss. It's not the grand gestures that matter. It's the consistency in small, meaningful interactions. A text that shows attentiveness, a comment that reveals you remembered something personal, a calm response when she expresses fear or frustration. These are the invisible threads weaving her trust into something unshakable. Every other man she encounters may offer excitement, money, or status, but few offer emotional integrity. That's the currency that truly matters, and it's what positions you as exceptional, without her even consciously realizing it. The psychology behind this is simple but powerful. When a woman shares herself with you and you respond with empathy and attentiveness, her brain releases oxytocin, the bonding chemical that creates feelings of connection, trust, and desire. This is why men who understand this principle have influence that feels effortless. It's not manipulation, it's biology meeting psychology. You honor her inner world, and her mind and body reward you with deeper emotional attachment. The more she trusts you, the more she subconsciously leans toward you in thoughts, decisions, and desire. And make no mistake, she is watching everything, not just your words, but your timing, your reactions, your patience. She's evaluating whether you can handle complexity, whether you can hold space without breaking her trust. Men who fail here often do so because they rush, they perform, or they try to win in superficial ways. But the man who understands this, who responds with intelligence and empathy, has already transcended the competition. You are no longer just another man in her life. You are a rare presence, someone she instinctively prioritizes over all others, even if she doesn't yet say it out loud. The quiet power of this cannot be overstated. Every time she shares a thought she hides from the world, every time she confides something personal, she's giving you access few men ever receive. Honor it, respect it, and respond in ways that reinforce trust and understanding, and you will see the transformation. You will no longer be a passive participant in her world. You will become a central figure, the one she turns to, the one she trusts, and the one she can't help but notice above all else. The victory isn't loud, it isn't flashy, but it's real, deep, and lasting, and it's already yours if you recognize it. Now, you need to understand the final stage, the point at which her trust and emotional investment become unmistakable. This is where the game changes from subtle signals to undeniable connection. She will start revealing pieces of herself she's never shown anyone else. Quirks, fears, dreams, private opinions. These are not casual disclosures. They are markers of her comfort and her subconscious evaluation of you as someone rare, someone exceptional, someone who belongs in her inner circle. This is the moment most men never reach because they fail to notice the quiet, cumulative pattern. When she shares things she normally hides, notice how she gauges your reaction. She's watching for judgment, impatience, or dismissiveness. Every expression, every tone, every pause is a test of your emotional intelligence. If you respond with patience, understanding, and subtle curiosity, you are solidifying a bond that is nearly impossible to break. At this stage, she will start seeking your input, not because she doubts herself, but because your presence has become a touchstone for clarity and comfort. You are no longer just a man she knows, you are a man she feels safe around, and that is the ultimate influence. Here's the key most men overlook. She doesn't need you to chase her or perform. She needs you to understand her in ways that others cannot. The more you internalize this principle, the more effortless attraction becomes. Every laugh, every shared confidence, every private conversation strengthens your position in her mind. She begins to prioritize you unconsciously, comparing others to the trust and emotional depth you offer. And once this happens, you've crossed into territory most men will never even glimpse, where connection, respect, and desire align seamlessly. Now pay attention to how she communicates outside of direct conversation. Subtle signs like checking in, sharing moments from her day, or referencing past discussions show she's thinking about you even when you're not there. She's integrating you into her mental landscape, her daily routines, and her emotional framework. These are profound indicators of attachment and preference, often invisible to men who expect flashy gestures. You have to be observant to see them, patient to honor them, and wise enough to respond in ways that reinforce your presence and influence. Finally, understand this. Every moment she opens up, every secret she confides, every subtle glance or thoughtful message is proof that you've already won in ways most men can only dream of. The men who fail to recognize these moments will always remain on the outside, chasing attention instead of cultivating trust. But you who see, who honor, who respond with emotional intelligence are positioned in a place of rare power. She has given you access few men ever receive, and that access is far more valuable than any superficial measure of success. So here's a personal question for you. Look back at the last time a woman shared something she normally wouldn't with you. Ask yourself, did I respond in a way that honored her trust, or did I miss the moment? Solve this equation in the comments. Trust shared times. Proper response equals emotional foothold gained. Let me know your answer, and if this video opened your eyes, like, subscribe, and share it with a friend who needs to hear this truth.